Hello everyone, and welcome back to Pigeon Studios. Today we're going to be starting week 1 of building Bracca. For those of you who don't remember exactly what Bracca is, it was first seen in Jedi Fallen Order and then the Bad Batch. It's a scrapyard for capital ships such as Venators, Acclamators, and I think even Lucahulk, which are the Separatist droid ships. My intention is to build the scene from Bad Batch Episode 8 called Reunion, where Crosshair betrays the Bad Batch and starts hunting them down. Now, for this mock, I intend to build the engine where the Bad Batch get trapped in by Crosshair. If possible, I also intend on building the hangar with the scene where Hunter faces off against Cad Bane, but that may depend on parts. So let's get straight into how I'm going to build this. Okay, so here's a little plan of what the mock is going to look like. It's not completely designed out, but I've got a good start. First of all, we've got the front view here, which is going to be 2 circles, one semicircle at a 45-degree angle, and then a full circle here. It's going to be connected with spokes, and that's going to be kind of floating, and that's going to be kind of the centerpiece of the mock. As you can kind of see here in the 3D view, it's going to be towards the front of the build, and then I'm going to have the Bad Batch running inside the engine. Now the reason I'm not going for a full circle is one, so that you can see in it, get better light, and also it's going to save a bunch of parts. I also intend on doing the actual engine for this big engine, which is going to be a bit smaller. So it's got a smaller diameter here, and it sits back within, well, outside of the engine almost. So that might be a bit of a challenge to build, but looking forward to it. And then kind of the overall layout of this mock is going to be pretty simple. I've got the engine here, which is likely to be about 2 base plates. I've got then the kind of the smaller section of the engine, and then I've got this small section here, which is going to be some rooms like where they store all the cargo, and maybe even I might do the bridge part up in there. And then I'm also going to do the hangar, which I may do depending on parts, but if I do the hangar, I'll include the justifier, which I recently got. And yeah, that's kind of the basic layout of the mock. Here's my first design for how I'm going to build the engine. I've gone with a half circle of train tracks as the outer layer. Then I've connected them with 2x16 bricks here to a smaller circle made out of hinge bricks. Now, this design works well. The problem is that I want to continue building the hinges all the way in a full circle. I could leave it as a semicircle, but I'm not really happy with that. So I've got to find a technique that supports these hinges, because if I tilt this up on its side, as you see now, so that's what it kind of looks like sideways. I need a design that is strong enough to hold these hinge bricks in place, because they're not going to have spokes supporting it. I've been trying to figure this out for the last couple of days, because I also don't want to make this inner ring too chunky. I can just go with brackets and then another set of hinge bricks, but it will make this inner ring about 4 studs wide. So I'm trying to find a connection that that works. So it's always good having challenges as a mock. It makes it interesting, but it is pretty annoying. But this is the first challenge for this mock, and I'll see you next time when I get a solution. I finally come up with an idea that might work. It involves brackets and some hinge bricks, and overall it doesn't make the circle too much thicker than it already was, so I'm quite happy with that. The one slight issue with it is it doesn't actually connect them, which may be deemed a little bit dodgy by people, but it doesn't put any stress on the bricks, so I'm happy with it. And it doesn't allow it to hold its shape because it doesn't allow it to bend. That was a problem I was having before, that the hinges were they weren't holding a circle shape, or that it wasn't a very even circle. It kind of turned into an oval. So now that I've put these like braces on the semicircle, it allows it to hold its shape. I'll show you what that looks like. So we'll hold this up now. Now obviously it's not perfectly done yet, but I am quite happy that it holds its own shape. Now there's going to be supports at the other side of the semicircle over there, which I haven't built yet, but I might get time this week, if not definitely next week. But overall, I'm really happy with how this looks compared to the initial plan that I had. Now obviously it's going to be sat at this 45-degree angle like that, and the reason I've done it at a 45-degree angle is it's going to allow minifigs to stand here. It's going to let you see into the mock from this side, and it's also going to allow sunlight in. So overall I think that's the perfect shape that I'm going to go for. I forgot to mention in the other segment how I'm actually going to make this cylinder. I showed the first semicircle, but here's the other semicircle. And this is going to be connected. I know this is upside down at the moment. It's going to be connected kind of like that. And then there's going to be posts that connect this railway track down to that railway track. Obviously this is flipped at the moment. That one is actually going to be on top. This one's going to be on the bottom, but this is easier to carry. And then this is going to be flipped on its side. Now, as you saw over there, this is the Justifier mock that I have. Or not mock, sorry, this is Lego's build. And this is going to be in the hangar section right here. The engine's probably going to be about here on its side. Overall, this build is maybe going to be my largest mock yet, depending on if I have the pieces to add the hangar. But overall, it's going well. I'll now show you some of the figures that I've made. So I've made a custom Bad Batch besides Hunter. That's Lego's Hunter, but I've got a custom Wrecker Tech, a modified Omega, and a custom Echo. I've also got a custom Crosshair and Cad Bane. So that's probably all the progress I've got time for this week. Not too much made, but a good plan so far. Thanks for watching, and see you back next week.